Join us every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for commentary on the latest Web3 news and to win big with NFT PowerUp's trivia gaming platform, nftpowerup.io. The space will begin shortly. Please repost the space now.
Yo. So I'm only getting the audio from the Twitter space and not from StreamYard. Am I the only one?
Yeah,
The
same here.
same
For me.
the same was happening for me, and then it just worked suddenly.
I am hearing you guys, just not the Twitter space sound effects and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Same.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us here today for another NFT Power Up Twitter space. We have a lot of in line for you today. So we have a series of news topics. We have some good guests today. We have trivia winner announcements, and we're gonna try a bit of guess the voice. That's a preview here of the voice.
We run a very simple business. We have not taken loans from other people.
All right. So, Sarah, MG,
Yo.
Let's go. What's up, everybody? Hi, MG.
All's good, Sarah. How about you?
Going great, actually. Super excited to be here today with our wonderful lineup for today. We've got Meta Lancer HQ with us here. Christian is representing them, and we've also got Vincent from Astromos. Hi, guys, and how are you doing today?
Good.
All right.
I'm good. I'm there. I was just muted, but I was waiting for the other person to speak.
That's completely fine. How are you, Vincent? How's your day been?
Very busy. We're in the middle of launching a new game on the App Store right now, so we're doing a lot of testing. It's a rush because we already passed our deadline that we wanted to publish, but we're very close, so it's definitely going to happen this month.
Super interesting. Well, best of luck on that. Sorry, MG, say that again.
No, I was saying that's super exciting, man. Best of luck.
Yeah, it's a big event. It's our first game with in-app purchases, so it's like a Web2/Web3 game. So it's going to be very interesting.
That is awesome. We can get into all that in just a bit.
100%. Christian, what about you? How's your day been? What's exciting?
It's been great. I'm glad to be here. Stopped by the office, went through some creative things earlier this morning about mini series and how we can take in the audience's opinion on the direction of the lore to make it sort of an interactive experience. Then came back home, sat down, and now we're having this space, and it's awesome. I'm having a great day. I hope you guys are too.
That's amazing. Well, we cannot wait to dive deep into what you guys are doing and what you have planned for down the road. Guys, just to give you a quick roundup about our spaces today. First of all, a big salute to our guests, listeners, and speakers that are tuning in today. We are going to be pinning some posts later on. Make sure to check them out. Stay tuned in to know who the winners of the space will be. Now, the agenda for today, we're going to be diving into multiple news topics that we have prepared for you, such as Magic Eden's Lucky Buy, Telegram's crypto wallet, and Token 2049 expanding to Dubai. So, Ayman, kicking off this episode, what do you think about Magic Eden's newest service, Lucky Buy?
What I think what Magic Eden are doing this, they're trying to differentiate themselves as a marketplace, and it's a busy marketplace. It's a busy environment that they're in. And one thing that they're doing with this, so the concept is, I want to buy something big, but I can't necessarily afford it, but I can afford a little. So what I'm doing is I'm buying it's like a raffle. So I'm buying a unit that if I win, so let's say I want to get an NFT that's worth $60,000. I would pay $1,000 to get a ticket, and then that ticket, if it's chosen, I'll get a $60,000 value. And if not, it turns into diamonds. MG, are you familiar with the diamonds or whatever the currency that they have? Is that a currency or unit or what is that? Are you familiar with that or not so much?
I think you caught MG off guard. So basically,
of course,
yeah.
yes.
If
Everybody
you
was
don't
without
win,
video. If you have info or Web3 guy, let me know.
yeah, sure. So basically, if you don't win the raffle, they will reward you with some diamonds as a consolidation to use on their platform. Now, I didn't get into a lot of details on where you can spend or what you can do with the diamonds, but I think this is some kind of rewarding loyalty program and so on.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
I think they
relatively.
haven't.
Mhm.
Sorry, MG.
Yeah, no,
But
no,
I
no,
just wanted to say that I don't think they have fully yet released what the diamonds would be redeemed for or what you can do with them. But I think we'll know that soon down the line.
but I think it's pretty pretty awkward that you can pay up to 75% of that ticket or that NFT, and then you might not end up even buying that NFT. So I think this model is a bit degen model. So let me try my luck. Let me see if I win. Everything is verifiable. They're using VRF, and even something nice about this is that they have for their clients whoever participates in these lucky buys, they have this interface where you can enter your transaction code, and then you confirm your code, the transaction hash. You confirm the hash, and then they literally show you on the blockchain that you did not win. So they're not hiding anything from anyone. They're even making it easier for users to verify that they did not win. But I think it's a it's a pretty funny concept. You can pay up to 80% of that NFT. Why not buy it at the first place, and then yeah.
So, MG, I have a question for you. Are all NFTs eligible? So, will all the NFT projects have this lucky buy option, or is
No,
it
no,
no?
no, no. So first of all, they started with the initial projects that launched with Magic Eden. So you'd expect these Solana-based projects like the Degenerate Apes and the likings of those. So they should have the buy lucky buy button on them. So first of all, you need to identify the NFT, whether it was eligible or not for the lucky buy, and then you can choose to put whichever amount of basically soul that you want to buy shares of that raffle, if you might.
Christine, do you feel lucky? Would you try a lucky buy, or it's not something that you engage in?
I mean, it's sort of interesting what they're doing. I definitely see that there's a lot of competition in the marketplace area right now, especially with Tensor. I mean, we have to consider that Magic Eden in less than a year went from having basically a monopoly over the sole marketplace game to having what I think their volume now accounts for less than 50%, when it used to be 97%, like a year ago. So I definitely get that they're trying to do new things, but I feel like this was rushed. I feel like diamonds should have been given utility when people were able to start earning them. Right now, it's just sort of like up in the air. Maybe they want to incentivize people to try to farm diamonds, make it sort of like blur points or tensor points where people are willing to take losses in the hope that they will recover them later. but without actually leaning into that to a point where it would be legally ambiguous if they're allowed to do that or not. It's an interesting thing that they're trying out, but yeah.
Christian, you mentioned Tensor, which is one exchange that I came across a few weeks back. Never gave it a try, however. Have you tried it out? Do you see any benefits, or do you see any competitive advantage that Tensor has on Magic Eden?
I mean, personally, I just find Tensor to be much easier to use. I also like their reward system. In my mind, it's sort of like Blur compared to OpenSea. Like they both have their advantages, but Blur is very much Tensor, and Magic Eden is very much OpenSea if you were to compare across ecosystems. I just feel it's better for trading. I like what they're doing. That's not to say that I'm trashing on Magic Eden. That's where I bought most of my Soul NFTs, and they do have a usable interface. But for power users, I feel like Tensor has an edge. And also, they just gave a nice airdrop to people. Like I had friends who were trading on Tensor. They were absolutely not farming points or anything like that. They were just doing their day-to-day trading. Got like a 4-5K USD airdrop from Tensor by opening up their boxes for season 1. And that's without them trying to farm. And I know maybe for the Ethereum ecosystem, 4 or 5K is not that huge of an airdrop because people were getting airdropped, like 100K for Blur. But for Solana, that's a big airdrop.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. The comparison that you brought there with Blur and OpenSea is pretty spot on, because the thing that brought my attention to Tensor is that how they have a feature where you can treat your NFT as an altcoin. Basically, you see the buy and sell orders, and you can basically trade it as if it were another coin. So that was something very interesting when I saw it. As I said, never used it, but might look more into that.
I believe Magic Eden has this as well, but it's more hidden. So what you're referring to is an AMM, automated market maker. Yeah. And Magic Eden has introduced these pools as well, but Tensor sort of pressured them to do it because they did it first on Solana. And then, they're sort of playing catch up right now. And for some reason, people are preferring to add liquidity on Tensor pools because you get more control over like fine tuning the parameters rather than on Magic Eden. You simply put your Soul in and that's your order without much specification for anything else.
Yep.
So I also have a question. Maybe Ayman or MG, you guys can help me with the answer for that. So since we're getting a discount on these NFT, who then will be covering the difference of the actual price of this NFT?
Yeah, I have the answer for that. So what Magic Eden says. First of all, let me just to put things in perspective. Imagine a group of let's say 10 individuals, each contributing maybe 10% of the price of the NFT. They pressed lucky buy. They did not win. Each of those allocations that they put in goes to a pool allocation held by Magic Eden. So that's the pool that they use to fill out the rest of the NFT price when someone actually wins.
But to be fair, at that point, why not just enter a raffle? Like that's my main question.
It is
because you are effectively entering a raffle.
It is a raffle, but they did not brand it as a raffle. It is at its core, it's a raffle. You have VRF. As the infrastructure that's giving you your random number. You can see if you won or not. So basically, it's like a lottery raffle thing where you see, okay, I want to buy, let's say, 1% of the price of the ticket. You basically have 1% to win this NFT. And then you run the raffle. It is a raffle. And then the funds go to a pool, and the pool pays the rest of the price of whoever wins.
We have to wait and see what happens with that, right? So a lot of this is not super clear.
Yep. It's still in beta, Iman. It's still in beta, but they announced it. They're getting feedback on it, and yeah, we'll still have to see how it goes out.
What other topics do we have, Sarah, to discuss today?
Yeah, well, actually, you know how Elon Musk is trying to make X a super app. We've also got Telegram rushing to make their application a super app and trying to include this new significant development in its blockchain journey, which is introducing a self-custodial crypto wallet, which is called Ton Space for its chat platform users. And I feel like this move is going to bring Ton closer to the original version. I don't know if MG, you got into more details on what Telegram has been doing. Maybe you can also enlighten us a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So what they did is that they introduced this custodial wallet to Telegram in hopes of being this everything app, just like WeChat is in China, where users can send payments within the app, within the chat itself. So they did not develop the wallet themselves. They used the help of an external company called the Open Protocol Top, and then they Top themselves created the app called Ton Space. So yeah, that's mostly it. It still haven't been broadcast worldwide. It's still only for select countries, and they they emphasized a bit that they're going to stay away from the US as a start, because Top themselves, they had connections with Telegram earlier in 2019, and then the SEC filed a lawsuit against Telegram. So they said, okay, let's hold off the USA for a bit until we set off in different countries first.
But MG, what's the point? Is it primarily a wallet to store money in and exchange money and do
Yeah,
peer-to-peer
yeah.
payments?
It is
Is
a
that the
wallet.
main aspect?
It is a wallet, Amen, because Telegram is a house of many NFT or crypto-based communities, and recently we've seen more and more apps that utilize different trading mechanisms using wallets, but they're never custodial wallets. So this is the first custodial wallet. Basically, you can export the seed phrase of your wallet. You have your crypto stored in that wallet. You can access it. You can manage it, and then you can trade or send funds within the chat itself.
Yeah, and also Telegram's also got some Telegram ad app for advertising stuff on Telegram. So also Ton will gain priority access to the Telegram ads. And just to go back a little bit with the exception of the US and certain other countries, I don't think that is stopping Ton from making it, because it will still be open to around 800 million users even without targeting the US market, which is a crazy number.
Vincent, what do you think about the concept of having wallets? What I'm seeing is then any platform that has enough of a user base, what they're doing is they're creating their own wallet in hopes of having enough deposits and peer-to-peer transactions that they can then eventually move around and trade in or exchange or so on. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on that behavior, Vincent?
Sure. I think my first thought is that I'm going to come from an outside perspective. First, I want to ask around what wallet people have. Obviously, it looks like MetaMask is very broad, and pretty much everybody has a MetaMask. It looks like the use of a specific wallet for a specific platform. I guess it just helps for obviously transaction within that platform, within that ecosystem. But I'm not sure that wallet is going to become the main wallet for the user, because from what I understand, the dynamic of the people I know around me, we will all more or less have like a wallet like MetaMask as our main wallet, for example, and then use that wallet as the center one to connect with all these different places, exactly like the way we're doing it now. I'm connecting my MetaMask to my Crypto.com account, to my Binance account, to all the other accounts. So if they all have this different account, this different wallet is fine. I think it might not just become the main wallet for everyone.
I think I'm looking at this from a revenue perspective, right? So they behave like a bank. So the banks we use, let's look at the fiat, the regular banks that we use. They make their money from our deposits. So we have deposits, and they use a portion of those funds to trade, to do things. They invest them in certain places, and they also lend this money to others and so on. So because they have all these deposits, they're moving the money in legal ways in order to generate revenue. I feel these platforms, once they have these wallets and these large amounts of deposits, they can move things around and do things and so on. So I haven't seen that yet from PayPal. What PayPal has been working on is they're saying that they have billions in worth of crypto deposits, But these are, user funds, and they're users, so they're not moving them around or they're not doing the bank behavior, not yet, at least on that. But I feel that's the revenue part, and I'm sure Twitter, because Twitter has been working on getting licenses in the US state by state, which is tough. So that's going to be the largest driver of revenue for them, let's say 3 years down the line, versus now they still have to rely on advertising money and some of Twitter Blue's X Pro's subscription.
I like to add as well, like from what we've gone through with FTX, now users are very scared of having their money like in a place and allow that platform to use them. So I don't even know if in their terms they say they're allowed to use it to generate revenue. I'm not sure it's going to they might have some fight back on that part.
When's the FTX trial coming? It's coming up soon, huh?
I actually don't know when.
Not sure when exactly, but Ayman, news about FTX liquidating $3.4 billion worth of crypto is all over Twitter. Everywhere I go, I see that they're holding of Solana, they're holdings of Bitcoin, and Ethereum is going to get liquidated. I don't know how that will affect the market, but 3.4 billion is a pretty chunk of the market.
The trial is in October, so we're coming up soon to that. I'm getting a lot of vibes of, because it's not clear for me yet. I've been keeping an eye on this to see if this trial is going to be public or not. If it's going to be public, I feel us in the Web3 community, we're going to have our own Amber versus Depp moment where we're paying close attention to who's saying what and why or so on. So it's our own. Obviously Amber and her have a wider audience, but just within our space, it's something we're gonna care about.
Yeah, and in this case, you obviously know who the bad actor is.
Innocent until proven guilty, MG.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right.
FTX wasn't on your topic list, but Sarah, we interjected. Okay, what's next, Sarah?
That's completely fine. It was interesting to hear you guys speak about it. But I've got a very interesting topic for those who are located in Dubai. And as I'm aware, Vincent and Ayman, both of you are in Dubai. Token 2049 is coming to Dubai, and it is a global Web3 and crypto conference that started in Singapore, and now it is coming to Dubai on the 18th and 19th of April 2024 at Medina Jumeirah Resort. And this event's going to host entrepreneurs and whatnot. So, Ayman, do you think you would attend such a thing?
Well, Dubai and the Emirates are positioning themselves as a global Web3 conference. So they've been working very hard on regulation that is business friendly. They have one of the early and first ministers of AI in the world, dating back to 2017, when AI still wasn't cool as it is today, and everybody's rushing towards it now. There are so many different types of licenses in the UAE to get companies. Whether it's trading or blockchain development or marketing or whatever type of or metaverse and so on. So the licensing is there. There's a growing Web3 community from businesses and people who are interested in this. And from a conference's perspective, it's very busy. Vincent, I know that starting next month, there's going to be some weeks there are 4 events happening in 1 week, and some events are 2 or 3 days, so they overlap. You're like, okay, I have work. I want to go to a lot of these, but I can't spend the whole week jumping from event to another, right? So, what are you observing from a Web3 conference perspective?
Yeah, exactly the same what you said. Like every year is like when they around this period, there's so many events, so many times per week, even multiple a day, one in the day, one in the evening, and even in the weekend. And it's like literally never stop. So it's like, and you do feel as a business person that you're actually not working at all. You're just going around, and you're even more tired as well. It's like doesn't make any sense, but I kind of made it my job as well to go to as many meetings as possible, because you meet so many interesting people. Is the source of so many connection. Actually, you and me met in a Web3 event in Dubai, so I think it's a good way to show that there is value in there.
For sure. Christian, how about you? How has been your conference experience with Web3? How frequently do you go? Are they valuable to you or not? What selection criteria do you apply?
I mean, so like you said, when you go to conferences, like you're so busy anyway, and like going to a conference is productive, the networking is worth it and stuff. But personally, in the past few years, I haven't been able to attend as many conferences as I would like, partially due to geographic location and partially due to this like feeling that, hey, it's probably better if I spend the week working on what we're shipping rather than going to the conference. But then again, the networking and the people you meet can really push you forward at a conference. So in the next year, this is sort of one of my goals for 2024. I want to attend more conferences, do more networking, because I do feel there's a lot of value in these events. You guys in Dubai are super spoiled with like you have an infinite number of events that you can go to based on crypto, which is really, really good. But then you have to start to select which ones you want to go to. Yeah, I'm more on like the European side of things with like NFT Portugal, ETH Paris, stuff like that. But I do feel like the events in Dubai go much bigger and much longer.
How is ETH Paris? I saw a lot of coverage on Twitter on that, especially those who were from the US who came over to Europe, for their first Web3 events and so on. So how was your experience?
So
with
this year, a lot of my connections went there. I wasn't personally able to make it due to it overlapping with a launch. But one thing that's been a difference like this year versus previous years, there was a much bigger focus on NFTs rather than previous years. From what my friends told me, like there were way more NFT side events and stuff like that than in previous years, which is definitely positive for NFTs. Yeah.
Do you think this will be the same this year, though, with the NFTs? So I'm getting more and more, people trying to distance themselves from NFTs. A lot of projects are calling them like digital collectibles or digital tickets, or different types of terms. But it's not. Don't call it an NFT, right? So do you think it might be the same this year?
I feel like the big communities that are hosting these side events are still going to be hosting them and focusing on them, given that they still have the runway. Here I'm talking about like D-Gods, Bored Apes, Zuki, and very much so their events are absolutely awesome. I still feel like that will be their focus, obviously, but yeah, probably less of a focus on NFTs, probably less attendance in total, because a lot of people at this stage of the bear market are sort of pivoting to certain other things, like you said, trying to minimize their exposure to like NFTs, crypto, calling them digital collectibles, pivoting to, we're blockchain, but we're more focused on AI. There's a lot of that going around. And I don't blame them. You have a company to run, you have people to pay, you have expenses every month, and you do need to do what you got to do. Each person is in a unique situation. Each company is different. We're staying true to our Web3 values throughout the bear market.
Christine, I was at a conference, and everybody on stage, the speakers on stage, were talking about how, they weren't saying NFTs. They're talking about AI, obviously, because it's hot. And also they're saying, we know NFTs are down and it's not an area we're focusing on, but we're very bullish on blockchain. So NFTs are not blockchains, right? So this is a way for them to use an umbrella term on this. So.
By the way, I like what you highlighted. This big shift with like everybody is doing AI. I think it should be highlighted because it feels very weird.
I know this is why when I talk to there's a Ministry of AI in the Emirates. That means it's been there since 2017. It's not like something now it's hot and they want to do it. It's more than 5 years old now. Yeah, 6 years old almost now, right? So yeah.
Ayman, about that, sorry, Sarah, just a second. I wanted to ask you, since you mentioned there are 4 to 5 conferences each week, and everyone knows where conferences are just boring. So how are they differentiating themselves? What are they doing in terms of for the audience? Like Token 2049, sold out over 10,000 tickets in Singapore. So what's the hype about it?
Look, I can't speak about Token 2049 because I have not attended any of their events yet. But from the Web3 and so AI and Web3 events, they're focusing on a huge fun aspect. So there's a day aspect and there's an evening aspect. So usually the conferences that are engaging, they always have an evening aspect, and it's It's a big party. It's either a big performance or a DJ, and there are a series of events, right? So even if you don't like that style, there are two or three other styles that come with it. Even during the day, they're trying to have more and more music and activities. And the vendors, when the vendors buy booths and they stay there, they're requiring them somehow to have like an activation and engagement aspect there that to make things a little bit more interesting. Once I went to an event, it was so it's clear the organizers were doing the hip and nice and fun activity, but the speakers, the sponsors who paid for the event, they're old school. So it was a very nice venue, but then they came in with a PowerPoint. The guy was wearing close to a suit, and he was clicking through slides and going through this. It was very. It's like, I sensed I was in a hotel lobby where, I'm in a quiet room, there's a screen, so they've paid for that screen and people are sitting. So this is what that person's used to doing always, but whoever they've paid for organizing the event are used to having the funner and nicer events. So you'd see that difference. But there are so many of these events happening in Dubai that are active. So, and there are always satellite events. So the evening related to it and so on. So you have to decide. There are weeks where you really have to decide what to do.
Yeah, and that brings me to my question to you, Ayman. How do you decide on which event to go to? And throughout time, because I know you've been attending a lot of networking events and conferences, do you feel like you resonated with one brand that hosts these events mostly, or are you just diversifying the way you attend them?
From a selection perspective of what AI and Web3 conference to attend, I've attended many, so I look for patterns. So I look for where is it hosted. So what type of hotel or location or so on, because that gives me an indication of the budget. And the budget plays a role in everything, right? Will there be good speakers? Will there be fun entertainment? Does that mean the vendor booths, are they large vendors with big projects there or not? So that's one thing I look at. The second, I look at the streams of the events to see, do they have, sometimes they have a blockchain, NFT, AI, whatever it is, or future of work, whatever the streams are. The third, I look at the speakers. So definitely I look at the speakers part. I look for two things. I look for, distinguished speakers. I also look for, there are many speakers who speak at events and they're not great, but they're able to play the circuit of speaking. So they show up at these events. Although I know them well, they're really not capable. So if I have many of those poor speakers, I know that, look, obviously the organizers are not, don't know enough to filter. They're just event organizers. They're not Web3 AI event organizers. They're just choosing, I have 6 slots, let me fill them in and move on. And also, I look for what type of events, satellite events they have around it to see if this is fun or not. And but the most difficult part for me, Sarah, is my calendar, right? So like now you tell me this event, I put it in my calendar, and then it's like, oh wait, it's 3 days, and already those 3 days I have 2 or 3 important meetings in the morning and then the afternoon. So many of them, I add the name of the event with a question mark, and then the day of, I look at, do I delete it as an entry, or do I just go ahead and go?
I love that, and especially with the piece of tip on how you prepare yourself. I think that will benefit a lot of people. Now, what if I told you there's an event happening in Korea, Seoul, Korean Blockchain Week, where Adidas are launching their residency by Adidas collaboration initiative? Would you attend that?
Well, my mind goes to there's someone who's a good friend of mine. She helps. She works with the business community in South Korea and with companies and those who are in AI and Web3 as well, right? So I would ask her first for her indication, her feedback on that size.
I love that. Thank you, Ayman. Now, moving to our next topic, actually, Adidas is launching Residency by Adidas, its first Web3 driven digital artist residency program, where they're offering digital artists the chance to collaborate with brands that have set their footprints in the e commerce world and on digital and tangible creations. Did you guys get the chance to see that?
I want to ask Kristen, what are your thoughts on these brands like Adidas and Nike and others? What they're doing is they do a type of collaboration with artists, and it's usually the same pattern. They have an emerging artist category, and then they have superstar artist category. So sometimes they only have one of them, or they bring them both and they match them together and they create opportunities for them and so on. And the NFT slash blockchain is in the background doing this. So what are your thoughts on such projects?
I mean, I feel like there's two sides of this, because one side is integrating blockchain into this, and the other side is giving artists opportunities. And especially with the side of giving emerging artists opportunities, I think it's awesome that they're doing this. Due to like what I do, it's very creative based, very much interacting with illustrators and stuff. And I know how tough it can be for emerging artists to find their niche, find their audience in this market, especially if they don't want to spend a large budget marketing themselves, because at the end of the day, they just want to draw. Their illustrator as artists, that's what they're good at, that's what they want to do. So I think these programs are really, really cool for getting their work to more people. I do feel like the blockchain integration as well is quite interesting. I mean, it's definitely a shift from what we saw brands doing during the bull market, where they would simply enter. Like now they're sort of starting to embrace Web3 culture more with like the art, with the artists, with creatives. Whereas during the bull market, a lot of big brands were entering Web3 through some random advisory agency that was steamrolling everything, and obviously doing it in a way that wasn't beneficial for Web3 or the ecosystem, but it was beneficial for the company's revenue and for the advisory agency's KPIs, you know? Now they're starting to like embrace the Web3 culture a bit more, which I do enjoy. But again, it's really, really, it really depends on how they're doing it.
One thing that I like about one thing I like about artist residency programs that are focused on AI and Web3 is that it helps artists leverage this new technology, because they will struggle. They focus more on the creative aspect, on the art, and they will struggle with anything related to technology. And I saw this when I was helping them initially get on social media, create their own websites, get people to know them, because many times I'm at an art event and great artist, I walk up to him or her later, I say, how can I keep in touch with your next event? I like your work. How can I know about your next event? And so on. It's always, oh, I message my friends, or I do this. Like, is there, can I follow you somewhere? Can I subscribe to something? It's usually, they don't have that. It's not in their nature to do so. And that's, websites and social media is easy compared to NFTs and minting and blockchain or so on. So what I like about residency projects for artists is it helps them bridge that technology learning gap, and it's a great plus if it's a great brand behind them, because that gives them gives the artist further exposure, maybe access to people who would buy their digitized art. Those big brands usually have their own multiple events that happen. They have very nice HQs, nice buildings where they can showcase the physical and digital art. So the Web3, that type of artist support and residencies, I think are effective in bridging that technology aspect.
Just to add on to that for a bit, I really do think that this sort of, it works both ways. We also sort of need to start exposing people in the art world to blockchain and NFT sort of art, which is why like one of our co-founders, Journey Crypto, he has an art gallery in the Las Vegas Strip in the art district, where it's only like one of one art from NFTs and like NFT collections that have put an emphasis on the art. And it's so interesting to see people who would traditionally come in looking for fine art and stuff like that in the Las Vegas art district or modern art, just get immersed in this environment of NFT art that they're not used to. And surprisingly or non-surprisingly, they really enjoy it. They really enjoy learning about it, especially the one-of-one pieces. Very cool. And it's been cool like to see people who weren't planning on looking at NFT art spend the next half an hour in the gallery looking at NFTs.
All right, Sarah, moving on to our AMAs. What are we doing now?
Yep, but before that, Web3 guy has got two little announcements for you guys. I'm sure a lot of people have been eagerly waiting for one of them. So let's go, Web3
Definitely.
guy.
Let's
Yep.
go.
So as you all know, it's time to announce the trivia winners of last week. So let's
Come
start with the
on.
first place. Yeah, Angie. So let's start with the first place winning 100 USDT. It's Dexter with 1720 points. So
Let's
congrats,
go.
Dexter, if you're here.
Let's go,
Yeah,
man. Congrats.
thanks. The second one was 50 USDT, and the whitelist spot is Tommy C. So congrats, Tommy, if you're here again. Yep.
Yeah, congratulations.
Third and congratulations, Tommy. And third one is Tony with winning a whitelist spot from NFT PowerUp. So Tony, congrats.
Let's go. Let's go.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Let's go,
Winner.
let's go. So again, and this is we just launched our Shaquille O'Neal trivia campaign. So all you have to do, we pinned the link here in the Twitter space, press on it, compete. Let's see who knows Shaquille the best.
We know Shaq. Gave it a look.
Yeah,
Super.
Shaq. Yeah, sorry, Andy. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, I mean Shaquille is Shaq, and Shaq is Shaquille. No,
Of
sorry
course,
about
man.
that.
Yeah.
Guys, check it
Some
out. It's
people
super
know him as Shaq.
Yeah. No, definitely. It depends on where you know him from. But check it out, guys. Super interesting trivia this week. A lot of nice questions. We bumped up the questions to 30 this week, so that's a bit more competitive. So keep your eyes alert on all the questions. Try to get most right answers before the time runs out. So give it a shot, guys. Winners getting $100 for first place, $50 plus a whitelist for second. I forgot plus a whitelist for the first, and third one gets a whitelist. Check it out, guys.
Guys, and just a heads up, last week we only had multiple choice questions, but for this week we've got a mixture of new different types of questions, such as putting stuff in orders and whatnot. So
Let them
make sure
find out, Sarah. Let them find out. Keep
you
it a
gotta read
surprise.
the questions, you gotta read the rules. Just putting that
Let them
out
find
there.
out.
All right, guys. So it is time for the AMAs that we have with our guests today, starting with Meta Lancer HQ. Christian, maybe you can take a couple of minutes to just walk us through your project and what you guys are building, and then what you have been building in the past, and what you have for down the line.
Absolutely. So thanks for the intro. We're building a comic book consumption app where you truly own each episode as a soulbound NFT. And to make it easier for people who don't have crypto exposure, this can be sent to a custodial wallet. We were talking about these earlier with each app having its own wallet and stuff, but I'll explain why it makes sense here. And you can buy each episode using an in-app purchase, so there's no requirement to like transfer crypto or anything, making onboarding as easy as possible. Creators can publish content on the app and get paid fairly. This is because the current platforms completely rip them off. The industry standard to charge is 50% of the creator revenue goes straight to the platform. So we're going to be having a much lower fee for these webcomic editions. Like I said, part of the NFT, part of the comic books will be sold as non-soulbound tradable NFTs. But we're also gonna, no, so sorry, I got a bit confused there. So you have the soulbound ones, which aren't tradable. And the appeal to these is people just want to come home, read a comic book, a web comic, without having to worry about price increases, price decreases, speculation. They just want to enjoy the content while still retaining ownership. Non-soulbound NFTs will be limited edition, published by creators, and basically you'll be able to claim a physical edition from these limited edition NFTs and completely track the ownership record in case the creator becomes someone big, or just in case you are into his work a lot and want transparent on-chain evidence of the history of his work. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. It's opening a new world of digital collectability, bridging the gap between physical collections and digital collections with comics and web comics, sort of a middle ground. Yeah, if you guys have any question, I'd be more than happy to hear
So
them.
the audience is primarily users who want who enjoy comics, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and usually how do they consume things today?
So you have, I'm going to use the main platform available today. It's a Web2 platform. Basically, they go on that platform. It's an app. And there's all these creators uploading their work, uploading their web comics. Some upload a new episode daily. They're quite short. They go on there. They can either check it out for free or pay to see it quicker. Like, for example, if you're not paying, you're like 3 episodes behind and you get spoilers in all the forums and stuff. So it's very smart how they've thought of like making people pay for them, but also you can wait and get spoilers everywhere you look. But that's the main way that people are consuming these web comics. It's a huge growing industry. It's growing at like 35% a year right now, predicted to keep on growing at this rate until 2030. So yeah.
And let's talk more about the how do they access this? Do they buy an NFT to join MetaLancer, or is it per comic book author? How is that structured?
So it will depend. Like each creator is able to set their own rules, and this is what makes it so appealing. Like if a creator wishes to launch an NFT collection and give those people access to certain episodes, they can do that. Like they can token gate their community. But the way we see most creators using this is they just publish normally and people buy the episode with in-app purchases, and that's the end of it. The people who do buy a MetaLancer NFT have unlimited access to all content on the app. So even if they have to access an episode that's normally paid, if you own a MetaLancer NFT, then you get free access to it for life. And that's where our collection steps in. But other than the MetaLancers and unlimited access, there's no like token gating of stuff.
So the MetaLancer NFT is like a master key that opens up access to all of the comic books that are on your platform. Or in case there's only a specific artist that I would want, I would buy their NFT to get access to their comic books, right?
Or you just buy their content. Like there's no requirement for that artist to launch an NFT. We're trying to abstract the Web3 side of things as much as possible, because after many conversations with people who love comics, who love collectibles, and creators as well, they love what Web3 stands for. Like they love the collectability, they love the on-chain transparency, but they don't really like the onboarding process yet. And it's easier to like now that we have account abstraction and all of that technology to abstract it away, it just makes sense to allow people to do their core activity, which for readers would be to read and consume content, and for creators to publish it without having them make centralized exchange accounts where they can get Ether, transfer that Ether onto MetaMask, and connect MetaMask to your MetaLancer account and all that. Like it's just too complicated, and most people are not going to go through those steps, at least for this use case.
And if they like a certain artist, they would pay a subscription, like with a credit card or debit card. Is that how it would work?
Well, it depends. It's all up to the creator. It's all up, like that's the whole premise, and why we think creators, well, why we know creators are so attracted to this is we give them a lot more flexibility. They can sell each episode as an individual episode. They're also free to run subscriptions for their own content where people are supporting them and get access based on that subscription. That, yes, they do pay with a debit card or just use the in-app purchases on their iPhone or Android device. That's pretty much how we see things working. The main thing is creator flexibility. Like the current platforms right now are so restrictive on what creators are allowed to do, taking predatory fees, and also limiting their, like the creators right now are even limited as to what they can talk about. These companies make them sign NDAs, and at the end of the day, like they're creating comic books, they're not working on like military state secrets. Like why is there an NDA there?
Okay. And how does MetaLancer make money? It makes a cut from the obviously the NFTs, that's one revenue line. The other one is what is the is if a creator decides to charge, whether it's monthly or whatever, you make a cut of that.
Absolutely. So the fees we are charging are 10% of the creator revenue. Yeah, that's pretty much our main revenue way of making revenue. But there's always also other options, like we're giving creators the option to set up merch stores that we distribute. We're giving them the option to launch limited edition NFTs where part of the royalty goes to us. There's many revenue streams within the app for us. I don't think we have time for me to go into all of them, but yeah, those are the main ways through which MetaLancer, the company, makes money.
From a comic book artist creator, they look at this, either they have a path where they would have to build their own audience on Instagram or whatever platform that they have, and they try to monetize that through their own personal website, or they would come to MetaLancer as somewhat of a platform where there are, they can self-publish there, but also it gives them access to a community of people who generally enjoy comic books. So they might, if they discover artist one, they might look around for one or two extra artists to follow and engage with. Is that a correct positioning from
Exactly,
the perspective?
exactly.
Is that your value proposition from the perspective of the comic book author?
Exactly. Yes.
All right. So what are closing words would you want to give? Would you want to keep the viewers and the listeners? Is it do you have the minting date coming up or important releases coming up?
So at the moment, we don't have a mint date, but I do urge everyone to go to our Twitter, MetaLancer HQ, check out our website. It's all in the Twitter bio. So if you just go to MetaLancer HQ, join our Discord, check out our website. There's a lot more info than I have time to explain right now. We do have regular AMAs in our Discord as well. So if you are in the audience, you have some questions, definitely join. And then during our next AMA, you can ask anything you want. But yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity, guys. It was great talking to you. It was great talking about MetaLancer, and I'm excited to hear what our next guest has to say.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us here today and for sharing your project with the rest of the community. Vincent, welcome.
Hello.
So when you and I met at one of the recent Web3 events, you were telling me more about what you've been building and how, and you were talking a lot about building for the long term. And you also mentioned that there are many opportunities that are coming your way now, but you don't want to cash in early, you want to cash in later because what you feel is that your building is big. So let's start from scratch, right? What is Astro? Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, so my name is Vincent. I'm French and Venezuelan, and I am entrepreneur at heart that loves gaming. And I specifically came to Dubai to pursue my dream as an entrepreneur. And I also met someone that was very pivotal for my project. He's the founder, one of the co-founders of Swissborg. And essentially, when I met him in Dubai, he said, "Vincent, if you now is the bull run, it's time to go. If you really want to pursue your passion, quit whatever you're doing. Take no plan B, and I have your back." So this is how my journey into this Web3 gaming started, with a very good backer, I guess. That's how my journey started.
And that was during the bull run.
So it was during the bull run. It was like in the middle of November. So I came to Dubai, planning to figure out a business that I wanted to create. I didn't know what I wanted to do just when I came to Dubai. So I was working at the time with my brother-in-law, which has a business here. And essentially, during the bull run, I met Anthony, which is the co-founder from Swissborg, and this is when he mentioned that I should just go for it. Now is the time, and if I miss it now, it'd be very difficult after.
So what is Astromust?
So Astromust actually it's a game concept with which we are planning to revolutionize gaming, or at least a part of gaming, because we are coming with a very strong concept. The concept is very straightforward. So the idea is that most gamers, they like to play multiple type of games, but in terms of the choice that they have, they usually only have choices with a single title type of games. So there's only quite a few games that have broke that kind of model. So a good example is Mario with all their franchise. You have Mario Bros, Mario Kart, Mario Wii, Mario Sport, etc. And at their peak, they used to have 50% of all the gaming industry to themselves. And for some reason, there is no many or almost not at all, no many studios which have tried to create a game kind of structure which matches the one of an ecosystem under one IP. And essentially, this is what Astromos is doing. So Astromos, we are a gaming ecosystem of many different type of games or many genres, but all connected through the storyline, connected to the progression, the currency, and even the items are exchangeable with between the games themselves. And at the same time, we started off as a Web3 project, and then we later on evolved to be a Web2 and Web3 project. And essentially now the base of our project in terms of where the gaming ecosystem is addressed to is for the gamers. So we have a base of Web2 gaming ecosystem. And on top of that, we are building different Web3 features, which actually will enhance the experience for the Web2 users.
And so what do you have live now? Because you mentioned that you have multiple worlds, multiple concepts that you want to build. What do you have live now?
So the first game that we have live is on the App Store. So if you search Astromos on Android, currently I think there has been a restriction on countries for the Apple, but on Android is fine, is available everywhere. So that's the first one we had. We had an amazing conversion. The people loved it. We spent as a test, we spent $1,000 of marketing. And we got literally 40,000 downloads, which is way better than most of casual game out there at the moment. So that's the first one. The second one.
So it's in the App Store. It's live. It's a mobile game. It's not web based. It's a mobile game.
It's we have all of them actually. So I'm going to take you through all of them. So the first one is this one. Is on the App Store, and we are going to do an update of that game coming this month. That's what I'm working on at the moment. So because we're going to start like literally growing the whole ecosystem, like the core of the ecosystem from the mobile perspective. However, we did other tests in the meantime. So we have another game called Astro Royale. It's on PC on a launcher called Elixir. And over there, you'll be able to enjoy like a multiplayer game, shooter, PvP, and it's all PC. So that's the second one. And on that one is on beta testing. The reason why we're doing on PC and we are testing it at the moment is that later on we will take that game and do a mobile adaptation and connect it to the game which is already being updated on the App Store. Okay. Thirdly, we have also explored the metaverse. So it turns out, I don't know if you guys know
the metaverse, maybe.
Yeah, no, a company called Spatial.io.
Okay.
So on Spatial.io, turns out we already have one of the largest metaverse in the whole of Spatial.io. We have 6 maps. You can actually go on Spatial.io and type Astroverse, and you will see different maps that we put together. And actually, we found that it was great to do that because the community come with us and they help us build those metaverses and even the content of those metaverses, which is in turn become the lore of the game, which later on will become the story of the game. So yeah, a million meter.
I'm checking it now. I'm getting a Roblox vibe where, on Spatial you have a series of different games. This, yours is one of them. And is this part of the spatial awareness of Apple and so on? Is that the approach there where it supports? So did you have to modify your game to better support VR and so on, or what happened?
Actually, from the technical standpoint, Spatial is amazing because they have an SDK which connect directly with Unity, and we build already with Unity. So it means that just with the push of a button, we can publish anything that we have in our game on Spatial.io. The only difference is that they restrict the functionalities that you can actually do in those games, essentially. So you have to use their set of actions. But all your avatars and everything is all yours. The worlds and the storylines and everything.
Okay, all right. So, but today the users are on the mobile app, and then soon they're going to be. Today it's mobile app and Spatial.io. And then next is coming the PC, correct?
So we already have the 3 live, actually. The 3 are live. So we have the mobile app of our own, Spatial, which is on App Store as like Roblox on the App Store, and it was also web browser based as well. Like we can come together right now. We can be going around our metaverses right now, and we also have a beta testing going on PC. But the goal of our project is to put everything on mobile at the end. And the reason is simple. The reason is because the mobile
because
industry right
Apple's
now,
iPhone 15 has the A17, and they were claiming that it's the first time that they have they mentioned a few console games. It's the first time these console games appear on mobile because there's enough computing power now in our hands.
I mean, if you think about the statistics, like right now, mobile gaming is already 50% of all the gaming industry. So right now, to go elsewhere than mobile for a game, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. I wanted to ask you something about the gameplay. I forgot what it was. So, who's the? Yes. How many people do you have building this? Because it looks like you're building wider and deeper, right? So you're going across multiple platforms, and then you're going deeper with Royale and others and so on. So, how big is your team? How is it structured? How many are game developers? How many are artists? How many are on the product side? So, what's the structure?
So we started off in the middle of the bull run with a relatively big team. I mean, big, not that big either, but let me tell you the detail. So we started off by creating a massive, like all the avatars. We wanted to create also NFTs. So we wanted the avatar in the game to also be metaverse ready and NFTs as well. So we created, we spent a lot of a part of the team at that moment. So at the time we had 25 3D designers at once in working for us. So we created like more than 10,000 unique skins, etc. In the game. So, but in terms of the gaming development itself, we only 4. So we have a CTO, we have 2 developers, and we have myself. I'm also part of the dev team. I'm a Unity developer as well, and it's never been more than that. So our strategy is very simple. We build a lot of mini games or testers, and we give it to the community, and we check what they like, what they want us to build more of, and then we dig deeper, as you mentioned before.
Okay, all right. Where would you want to send people now? If you want them to go and try out the game and play the game, where would you want to send them to?
Right now, I like to try. So depending on what they like. So if they prefer the mobile, I'll tell them to go to the App Store, download the mini game, try it a little bit, so that they get a feel of what our game is going to be. If they're more into PC, I'll tell them to go in Elixir, and over there they will be able to join the beta testers and then play with us together. Because as we're playing, we're doing a lot of tournaments and things like that. So it's much more multiplayer on that sense. And if they don't like any of those, if they prefer metaverse style of Astroverse, they can also join our Astroverse on the special.io.
Okay, all right. Great. Thank you. Sarah, what else do we have lined up for today?
I just want to remind everyone that we have an ongoing trivia competition about Shaquille O'Neal. So go ahead, join our Twitter, check out our latest posts, go through the Gleam link, follow the requirements, test your skill on Shaq, and we cannot wait to see who's going to know Shaq the most. So make sure to check that out. I just want to say thank you for our guests for being here today. That's all we've got for our audience today. We've covered all the news and had beautiful conversations with our speakers on here. I would like to ask our speakers, once we wrap up, to please stay on this studio until our recordings are uploaded. Other than that, Ayman, I think we can wrap up if it's fine by everyone.
Thank you everybody for being here with us today and for sharing your experience, and thank you for the audience for listening, and we look forward to participating in the trivia games and the activities that we have for you. That's it from us for today. Thank you for joining us.
Until then, keep powering up.
Join us again next Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time.